What's up, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. It's time for a recap of what went down on Teen Mom OG Season 10, Episode 2. Butch is still in rehab, and Tyler's going down to Austin, Texas to visit him, but admits he doesn't like to talk to him too much when he's sober because he's used to only interacting with him knee-deep in addiction and has a tough time redefining his role within their relationship. Did anybody else kind of stop to think that maybe what he's saying about his relationship with Butch could also be copied and pasted into his relationship with Caitlin if you substitute drug addiction with depression and whatever else Kate has been going through these past few years? Over in Indiana, Amber sits down with her boyfriend Andrew and tells him that she wants to take him with her on one of her therapy sessions so that he could better understand what she goes through battling bipolar disorder as well as borderline personality disorder as well. Andrew then quickly describes my feelings every time a new Teen Mom episode comes out.
I usually just want them to be over as fast as they start.
Before Macy quickly announces that Ryan is back in jail. She and her husband Taylor sit down at the kitchen table to talk about how frustrating it is to constantly have to explain Ryan's mess ups to their son Bentley, and talk about how he's back in jail, arrested yet again. Like, it's extremely embarrassing. And as soon as they mention, how are we gonna explain this to Bentley?
This is gonna suck because we're gonna have to figure out when and how and what to tell Bentley.
Bentley, on cue, accidentally just walks on into the house and they just stare at him, not like a hello or anything like that. So to me, the scene was just so obviously like rehearsed and staged, and I just felt like for someone who does not want these things to affect their child to the point where she stopped Ryan from appearing on the show for a little bit, it's kind of interesting that she would go ahead and use her son as a prop for this kind of scene. Corey and Taylor are Instagram officials, so Cheyenne and her sister sit down and bitch about it over what appears to be mint chocolate chip flavored ice cream.
All right, everybody has their ice cream.
Cheyenne complains about the amount of photos that Taylor's been uploading of herself and Corey and claims that they're all just doing it for social media and that it's extremely fake, which is very ironic considering Cheyenne has been uploading the hell out of photos of herself with her current boyfriend, but I digress. By now, we all saw how upset Ryan's arrest made Maisie feel, but his wife Mackenzie even tried to pretend that she didn't literally fill out a sign-up form for single motherhood when she married Ryan.
Like, there's a part of me that's just like angry, Like, I didn't sign up to be a single mother.
But if that's not what she signed up for when she knowingly married a man too strung out on heroin to legally consent to marrying her, then what did she sign up for? A life insurance policy? Tyler touches down in Austin, Texas, eager to see his dad again.
So how's life? What's going on, Dad?
Only to be let down when he learned that his dad has gone back to using marijuana. Butch really truly tried to soften like what he was doing, which is relapsing as an addict, by calling marijuana use marijuana maintenance, and he called it an attitude adjuster. And it's just like, it's only a matter of time until he gets back to crack and starts calling crack maintenance and a tooth adjuster. By the way, how sad is it that Butch started smoking marijuana at only 8 years old? His parents truly failed him out of the womb, and it's genuinely heartbreaking. Back north in Indiana, Gary and Christina sit down and talk about Amber's mental illnesses, and he says that although she's had suicidal thoughts in the past, he doesn't think that Amber would ever really follow through with suicide. But Christina tells him that no one thinks that anybody would ever go through with committing suicide, and she knows from firsthand experience because her dad ultimately wound up taking his own life. Okay, so this is where things get a little bit dark. So Corey and Cheyenne have a daughter named Ryder, and Ryder has a very rare disease called VLCAD. And so when she has fevers and flus and things like that, they can be deadly for her. They can cause seizure, shock, it's really scary. And so Corey was away on vacation to Mexico with his girlfriend Taylor when Ryder came down with a very serious flu or fever, and she had a temperature of 103. Cheyenne took her to the hospital, called Corey about it, but he's in Mexico, so it takes like flights to get back up north, right? And she posted about Ryder being sick in the hospital on Instagram, and a lot of people were attacking Corey for being on vacation, as if he decided to take a vacation as soon as he found out she was sick, And Cheyenne never once stuck up for Corey, and it was really, really, really sad to see that was something that she would do to her baby daddy, who's been a very, very present and active father in their daughter's life. So Corey was very hurt by it. So he went on a second Instagram live rant of the episode, and he started crying about like the way people were treating him. And speaking of Cheyenne, she complains that he was not able to make it there sooner. And then when Corey finally does make it back into town, he does ultimately visit his daughter, obviously, but then we get a scene of him with his friends just talking about how hurtful it was, you know, for all of that to go down on social media. And he felt that Cheyenne was throwing him under the bus out of spite for him having a new girlfriend. And I'm sad to say it as someone who's been rooting for Cheyenne all this time, but I do agree with Corey that, you know, what she was doing was dirty, and just her being, you know, vengeful over the fact that he moved on with somebody else. Let's head on over to Texas again. Tyler's sister Amber looks very happy and healthy, and she's very proud of herself for being sober and for being, you know, a help to all of her friends who are suffering with alcoholism. And so she's in this really, really amazing space, but then she quickly tears into her dad Butch for falling off the wagon.
Yeah, who's your sponsor, Dad?
Nobody.
Exactly. Dumbass.
We are really seeing a nasty side to Cheyenne this season. She really sat up there on television and tried to portray Corey as a deadbeat dad for not being able to get to the hospital on a timetable that worked for her. I really don't understand why she wouldn't give Corey the benefit of the doubt on the situation. I mean, when you are away from the country, it's not that easy to just hop on a plane and come back. Like, maybe some flights were sold out, maybe like this, maybe that. Like, there are a lot of different variables that go into like being able to return home. And Corey has always shown that he's an attentive, loving, like, you know, present father.
And Corey missed all of it.
Corey was out of town, but as soon as he got back, he came to the hospital.
The last day.
It's just so disappointing to see her act like this, but I was glad that her mother and her sister both stuck up for Corey and were like, dude, he did ultimately end up going to the hospital as soon as he was able to return. Meanwhile, in Tennessee, we learned that Ryan's been sentenced to 90 days in jail, but thankfully there's always a silver lining to every situation.
He looked good, I mean, in orange.
And then in Michigan, Tyler returns home and tells his wife Caitlin how he ultimately feels about his father falling off the wagon for the millionth time.
I'm not a sponsor. My responsibility is not to make sure he's sober. It's just to love and support him.
In the final scene of the episode, we get an inside look at Amber's therapy session with her doctor and learn very interesting things about what life is like with bipolar disorder, as well as borderline personality. I thought it was really great of Amber and the producers to include the storyline because it helps to humanize her and paint a fuller picture of her, because she has been really difficult to watch, you know, for the 10 years that we've known her. Anyway, you guys, that's a recap of what happened on this episode of Teen Mom OG, and as usual, I've got 2 videos for you to choose from, so pick one and I'll see you very soon. Bye.